11.0.5 hotfixes are in. Yes, some quick hotfixes that went in just to adjust for some of the insane DPS, maybe that blood decays we're doing. Let me move this over here. Let's check out what was going on the servers here. So Deathbringer markedly reduced. Yeah, Reaper's Mark, stacking damage reduced by 22%. Exterminate reduced by 22%. And Wave Souls reduced by 22%. I don't know what it is with the 2-2, but yeah, blood decays, I guess, were running around like gods yesterday, so they had to nerf them into the ground. Same with Frost. Reaper's Mark, initial stacking damage reduced by 22%. Exterminate reduced by 22%. Wave of Souls, 22%. Obliterate damage reduced by 6%. Breath of Cindergosa reduced by 10%. And Icy Death's Torrent damage reduced by 12%. I want to see what the DPS charts look like, honestly. We'll review those later in the week when they come out. Unfortunately, these changes would have already been in effect, but damn. These are some big reductions for some DKs out there. They must have been running around big DK and everything. So those happened. Hunters also had a reduction. Kill command damage reduced by 35%. Yes, this damage reduction was intended to be part of 11.0.5, but temporarily went missing. Oh man, some dev out there wanted to play their Hunter and deleted it before it went into effect. That's freaking hilarious. Mages. Okay, Arcane. For Sun Fury, Spellfire Sphere damage, spell damage bonus for Arcane Mages reduced by 1% was 2. Lingering Ember spell damage bonus for Arcane Mages reduced to 1% was 2. Glorious Incadences Arcane Barrage damage bonus reduced to 20% was 30, so there's reductions across the board for there. Mana Cascade now grants 0.5% haste rather than the 1 that it was giving. Splintering Orbs. Splinter Generation Cap per orb reduced to 4 was 6, so there you go. Arcane Blast damage reduced by 10% and Arcane Barrage reduced by 10%. We were talking about it yesterday. Arcane Mages were actually getting a little bit of a buff, and it was kind of insane because they're already doing really good damage. So here are some reductions for them. For Prot Paladin, fixed an issue that caused Sentinel to grant critical strike incorrectly, so that's fine. Transmog, class restrictions have been completely removed for armor types obtained during Missa Pandaria Remix event, and then enemies will now despawn once completing the Chromie Codex thing up and away. So there you go. Nice little hot fixes there. Reductions, man. I guess some people just came in way too hot and heavy. DKs were so unbalanced. MDI teams were running Frost and Unholy DK with an Aug Voker. Oh, man. I miss the all DK groups back in Wrath of the Lich King. You guys remember those? Those were good times. Good times. Moving on. The Blackrock Depths raid, everything you need to know. Real quick, I'm just going to get into the best ways to get currencies out of these things. Because yes, Blackrock Depths does drop a currency, and that currency is the Time Warped Relic Coffer Keys. These are going to give you specific in-slot gear, right? Specific gear that you could go ahead and buy. You want bracers, you want belt, you can go buy the best in-slot stuff from the raid for you on those. Anyways, Raid Finder, you're going to have gear dropping from 584 to 593, normal 597 to 606, and then Heroic 610 to 619 gear will be dropping in there. Now, each of the different versions of this raid will be dropping specific Time Warped Relic Coffer Keys. These keys will only be able to buy for the difficulty in which they drop. So if you want that Heroic 623 upgrade, gear that can be pushed up to 623, you're going to need to do the Heroic version of the raid to get those coffer keys. Each main boss drops 3 relics, with 5 mini bosses dropping 1 to 2. There's a total limit of 120 of those. So loot from Blackrock Depths can be purchased for these relic coffer keys by going to the celebration area in Tanaris and using them. Every piece of loot will cost you 40 each. So you're going to take a little bit of time to be able to get those as we just went through. You're not going to be able to get 40 from a single run, it looks like. And then obviously this is locked out for a week, so you're not going to be able to do this constantly, just grind it out. But to get that 610, 1 of 6 gear, you're going to go to Hilda, Hellforge, going out there, getting that. And again, using these to backfill some of your best in slot stuff. 40 relics in total, 120, so that means you're going to be able to get 3 items from this event in total by the time it's all said and done. It's a nice way to backfill some of the stuff that you haven't been able to basically clear out from maybe some old gear that's just still sitting there in your inventory or currently equipped to your character. Samantha's Biz, Best in Slut. That's right. That's a wonderful thing. 6 new classes. I just read this shit like Ron Burgundy sometimes. Dracthyr, should you be switching to them? Right, Dracthyr have some pretty cool abilities, interesting stuff. Are they currently parsing out to be the best race for your class? Well, from now, They can be hunters, priests, rogues, warlocks, mages, and warriors. And the way it's currently looking is the answer is, you know, it kind of depends. That's usually how it goes. Anyways, for this, their abilities are glide, you know, their typical double jump. They do have soar, which is actually really good for being able to, you know, fly around nicely. Glide is very useful because it can actually negate knockbacks, which is a really good thing for some classes in particular. Wing Buffet is a nice little interrupt as well, so that's good crowd control for you. Tail Swipe is another ability. Visage, or Visage, as Bellular likes to call it. That's another thing, you know, transfer between your the way you look, right? You want to look like a Blood Elf, you want to look like a dragon. Really nice stuff to use on Moonguard if you're into that kind of thing. And then you can obviously stay in your Visage form. That's a new thing. Their passive abilities are Awaken, which gives you some mastery bonuses, and a Discerning Eye, which increases your perception by 2%. Perception increases your ability to spot rare reagents while gathering. So if you're a hunter-gatherer, hey, maybe that's something you're going to want to do is switch to Dracthyr. Anyways, looking at the abilities, how they stack up, Mechagnomes are really good at some DPS classes. A lot of people won't play them because they're a gnome, and hey, I don't blame them, but they are pretty good in terms of their racials. But looking at the Dracthyr ones, for specifically, you know, Awakened, yes, if you're a class that specifically focuses on mastery, this will be really good for you. Glide, again, is a really good one. Obviously, for like the Queen Ansarek mechanics and things like that, just like Death's Advance for a Death Knight, it's always nice to be able to avoid a knockback. Wing Buffet, I mean, great. It's a nice interrupt for Mythic Plus and things like that. The class that probably benefits most from these would be Priests. They often struggle with mobility and knockbacks, and clearly the Dracthyr abilities will help with that stuff. But overall, they're not parsing out too crazy compared to other classes, or other races, I should say. But yeah, sure, you want those utility abilities. That's a good way to, you know, switching to Dracthyr might help you out with some of that stuff. Obviously, if you want to fly with your boys to the Goldshire Inn, as I was saying before, late night, you can do it in a squadron now. 2 of you can join one person to fly around all 3 of you and look like the boy band you've always wanted to be. Moving on to the Bronze Celebration token sources. So here it is, all the bronze that you can get this week, okay? This week, how many bronze can you get in total, and where can you get them from? So we're going to look at this real quick. One-time celebration quests are going to be available, obviously, this week, your first time doing it. You'll be able to get 13 in total from the one-time things. Those one-time things are the introduction quests for the anniversary. You're going to get 8 from the meet and greet and shop squee altogether. You'll get 8 from there. And then doing the BRD raid, the new raid, getting 5 for completing that quest that takes you there. The weekly Khazalgar activities, you'll get 17 tokens in total. You can do the Theater Trope, Awakening Machine Weekly, Wax Collection Weekly, all these weeklies, Spreading the Light, Severed Threads, yes, special assignments, all these different Khazalgar weeklies. Yes, you're not just going to spend your time in Tanaris. All these weekly events will give you ones, again, totaling 17 here. And then you could also do the weekly anniversary stuff in Tanaris. Those will give you 18 in total for completing these. By the way, this is Warband first time completion stuff, so no, you cannot grind these out in your different alts and pool a bunch of stuff together. So in total, when you do the math here, maxed out, the most you can get is 48 Bronze Celebration tokens, and you know, you need 60 for your tier set. So your tier 2 set's gonna not happen until next week. So if you see somebody running around in their tier 2 set today, they've probably broken the game in some way, and they're gonna get banned at some point. But yes, 48 in total if you want to grind it out, which means next week will be the first week that people can actually get their tier 2 sets. Finally, one of the things that you're going to have to do to get this is Korrak's Revenge. Yes, it was down here at the very bottom. Soldier of Time is called the quest, getting 500 honor from Korrak's Revenge. It's not really PvP. People are all complaining and up in arms. Oh shit, we gotta do PvP. What is this all about? No, it's not. If you forgot what Korrak's Revenge really is, it is an Altaric Valley, I should say, inspired event, right? So you're gonna go in there, and really what you're doing the entire time is focusing on summoning bosses, completing quests, and battling your way to victory with no reinforcements or time limit, so be prepared for a potentially long match. So yes, mainly, yes, there can be PvP in there. You could see the other side and start to dabble in a little bit of, you know, back and forth fighting, but in reality, this is a big boss fight thing. That's all it is. Yeah, oh no, there's PvP. It's, there is PvP. I know that. You're going to see the other side. But this is not like a 1v1 sweaty arena style shit. It's very casual. You'll be fine. Run around, summon the bosses, kill the other side when you can, and just go through it. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You only got to do it once a week anyways to complete this thing. Get your 3 bronze. And if you don't, well, shit, you're gonna get your tier 2 set anyways. Because without those 3, so what? You're gonna get 45 this week. You'll get 45 next week too if you just avoid this thing completely. So don't worry. It's a battleground. I know. But if you ever did old Alturic Valley, how many times did you see the Horde on that? You literally used to mount up, run to the other side, and kill the other team's boss. This is like the least PvP match there is. So put away your PP. Stop crying. It's not that much PvP. You can do it. And if you don't want to, you don't have to at the end of the day. You'll still get your tier 2 set next week with everybody else.